part of me always thinks that team chemistry in baseball is overrated.
Not a chance.
Doesn't a winning team create its own team chemistry?
No. Right, but then here's the chicken or the egg.
I know, but then everyone's saying...
Does the winning team create the chemistry, or does the chemistry create the winning team?
Yeah, because everyone's saying how, like, oh, this Yankees team was different from last year because they're having fun out there. And I think that's the most ridiculous thing. You're having fun because you're winning. A losing team is not having fun. You can't tell me that the Washington Nationals had a great time this season.
Of course not.
So, like, I always find that thing, like,
well, yeah, and it's right, and it's kind of stupid when you have, like, we're having fun, so this and this and that. Yeah. But you can't overlook what the personalities did for the Yankees, as well as the glove by Mark Teixeira, because honestly, Mark money. Do you think?
Hold on. I want to go back to team chemistry because I know Lenny has an opinion on this. And Lenny, what are your thoughts on team chemistry with just baseball teams in general?
You need to have it.
How would you go about getting it? Is it bringing in the right players, or is it a managerial thing?
Did the Yankees win the World Series with Gary Sheffield? I don't think so. No. It's guys like that just ruin a clubhouse. You have to have guys like Nick Swisher and CeCe Sabathia playing Sega in the clubhouse, stuff like that. That just makes championships. You have to have that. I know the Nationals are doing the same thing. Guess what? You have to have talent too. The 2009 Yankees is some of the best combination of talent and team chemistry I've ever seen in a team.
Now, how can a team say, like the Mets, do you think the Mets have a good team chemistry?
I don't know the players that well. For example, I'll go back to the Yankees. I think Mark Teixeira is the perfect personality to be in New York. He's a quiet guy, but he does his job and does it well. That's what you need. You need quiet guy. You need some combination of quiet guys, and then you guys need to talk to the media that aren't going to say stupid crap like Johnny Damon. Like, he does say the stupid thing, but he doesn't ruin it. Like, he doesn't like blurt out every once in a while, I want to play like Gary Sheffield. He doesn't do that. He says, we're just a bunch of idiots out there. Like, that worked with the Red Sox. It worked.
And to Alex Rodriguez's credit, and as hard as it is for me to say this, like, he really, like, toned it. Yeah.
So, Lenny, you believe that a good chemistry creates a winning team and not the other way around.
You have to have both, but I think it does start. I mean, you can have a winning team, but you can't have a championship team without chemistry.
Okay, so you're saying that
the Yankees won the division. They made the playoffs every year with a good team, but they didn't win the championship. They didn't have
because
that edge.
They didn't have
that edge over like the hot team like the Angels or like the team that just had the fire. Like Ozzie Guillen with the White Sox.
I don't think that chemistry leads to wins on the field. I just think chemistry leads to not controversy. I don't think that they're tied in together where one player plays the game right and he gets along with all his teammates, that is going to make wins. I mean, it's not going to put a W on the scoreboard or runs or, strike out the other team. It might help in some way, but it's so ambivalent or something that you can't put a number on it. You can't put your finger on it. Yeah, it might help the team, but does it exist? Does it change people? I don't think so. I think chemistry is overrated.
It's one of those things that, I mean, like you said, it can't be put down on paper. But the day it does, then that's the day that I just stop watching baseball, because that means that statistics will literally run it. And I think that
the team chemistry average.
Right. See, like once that happens, if I'm involved with baseball or if I still love baseball, someone find me and slap me across the face and said, find a new
profession.
Find a new love, because that's when everything will be lost.
Yes, the Yankees had a had a 950 TCA last year, I believe.
Right. So so high. What
team chemistry above replacement teams?
What you have to. What you have to remember is that even though it can't be thrown down on paper, but it's important nonetheless. And there are players out there who can change it, who can change the dynamic of it, who can help the environment, which usually finds wins. Now, there's always going to be that 78 Yankees who had no chemistry whatsoever. But they won the World Series.
Boom.
All right, say you're a GM and you have two players. One has good statistics, great statistics, but he's a bum. He complains sometimes if he doesn't play.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you quantify this on the team chemistry average?
I'm sorry. He has a 250 TCA. But you have another guy who's like mediocre. He's like a utility guy kind of, but he could fill in a position. But he's a character. He's a team guy. Do you look at this team guy over a guy that puts up numbers and is a good player, is a much better player, but do you look at the guy with chemistry, with a higher TCA, and say, you know what, I'll take this guy instead?
Well, here's the thing, though. There aren't always the drastic sides. There's always a player like Orlando Hudson, who's a solid player and who's an everyday player who the Mets should have gotten, but they had a man named Luis Castillo who was stopping him.
Yeah, it's really, you really can't do it in that scenario between like a utility guy and a starting guy.
Say they're the same then.
Right.
But one guy's good in the clubhouse but doesn't have as good numbers. He hits like 15 less home runs. But this guy's like good. He's like a solid player, but sometimes he complains and he got busted for weed like 3 years ago or something like that. Do you actually look at the guy with chemistry and say, you know what, I want him over this guy that puts up better numbers all the time?
Probably do.
You already, yeah.
If you're confident with the talent that you have, then you don't need another guy to fill in.
Or
if you have a guy like Gary Sheffield, you need a guy to neutralize him. Bring in the guy who has team chemistry.
Or if you have faith in your manager, who is a disciplinarian who shows tough love to players, maybe that could have an effect too.
So
It's people.
essentially, all right, Jeremy Schilling is here. Jeremy Schilling, Yankee fan, another Yankee fan. Now we're outnumbered. What are your thoughts on team chemistry? And I just cannot wait to hear this.
If you want to go to the promised land, okay,
Yeah.
you have to have a team that is together. We saw this Yankee clubhouse this year have a team that was a united family. Can you win with no chemistry? Yes. Okay, you
chemistry
can
is
win with no
overrated.
chemistry. But having a big happy family that will help pick people
Now
up
we're just talking
when
about
they,
the Pirates.
that will help pick people up when they have problems. It's very important. It's very, very important. I have some.
So
This is the,
I don't know.
This is the NFL, the no
Chemistry
fun zone.
is
Holy crap!
is beyond anything. It is so it's such an enigma. You can't put a number on it. You can't boil it down to TCA. But I don't think it's as important as a lot of people believe. I do not think that you should look at a guy with team chemistry over a guy that can put up better numbers. I think it's a winning team will create good chemistry and a losing team will create bad chemistry.
Let me just quickly jump in.
It's obviously better to have a team that enjoys each other's company, not just has to be there to play with each other on the field. So, that's obvious.
Right.
And the thing that will I don't think ever be solved is, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, which is the chicken or the egg. What, does team chemistry create wins or does wins create team chemistry? No one should ever find out if either way is right or either way is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if it does, then we become robots.
Right. Are we not already?